A win is a win is a win, and the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70. Sophie Cunningham has been hot to trot. Sophie Cunningham has been on fire.
What happens when the Indiana Fever lose their biggest star and still dismantle A'ja Wilson's Las Vegas Aces? The answer flips the narrative on this team entirely. With Caitlin Clark sidelined due to injury fuming at the refs from the bench, the Fever didn't just survive, they dominated. No excuses, no fear. Just pure execution. Kelsey Mitchell stepped up when it counted, pouring in 21 points with cold-blooded precision. She lit up the scoreboard and anchored the team when they needed a spark, but she wasn't alone. Sophie Cunningham? She exploded, and not just with buckets. She officially became the hottest player in the entire WNBA. Literally, this wasn't your average win. This was a thunderous statement, one that sent tremors through the league, forcing everyone to rethink what this Fever squad is capable of, even without Caitlin on the floor. The chemistry, the hustle, the fire. It was all there. So, what clicked? How did Indiana pull off one of the most unexpected blowouts of the season? And more importantly, what exactly did Sophie Cunningham do that made fans start calling her Red Hot Sophie?
Back in the W chat.
Oh, that was a gut check win right there. Oh, nothing in the chat.
Yes, Natasha Howard!
That was a fun one. My gosh, and these jerseys are sweaty.
Yeah, you're going to want to hear this. Comment Reddit Sophie if you're fired up after this one. Smash that like, subscribe, and let's break it down. Let's go. To picture this. You've just dropped back-to-back games to the New York Liberty. Your momentum's gone. And to make it worse, your superstar is out. Caitlin Clark, the heart of the franchise, sitting on the bench in street clothes with a groin injury. Sneakers, no minutes. Just frustration. That's exactly where the Indiana Fever found themselves on July 24th, stepping back into Gainbridge Fieldhouse under a cloud of pressure. The weight of those two straight losses wasn't just on the scoreboard, it was in the air, heavy, palpable. The fans felt it. The players felt it. And hanging over everything was one.
Obviously, there's no timeline for Caitlin, but what has she been able to do this last week? Is it mostly just rehab recovery, or has she been able to do any kinds of practice?
Yeah, no, I mean, we haven't really practiced since the couple days before All-Star break. So mostly rehab, shooting, and she's been with our athletic training team, and we've been preparing everybody else.
A question everyone, fans, media, rivals, was asking out loud. Who are the Fever without Caitlin Clark? Can they survive? Can they compete? Or are they just a one-player show? The Fever's 12-12 record only scratched the surface. On paper, they looked like a mid-tier team. But critics were digging deeper, and they didn't like what they saw. It wasn't just playoff doubts anymore. People were writing the season off entirely. The narrative turned cold, fast. Social media, relentless. The memes, the takes, the disrespect. Sports talk shows framed them as frauds, just a flashy team. That fell apart the moment Caitlin Clark sat down. The message was loud and cruel. No Clark, no chance. And the pressure? It kept climbing. Playoff seeding was tight. Every game carried weight. The Fever weren't just fighting for wins, they were fighting for their identity, their future, their respect. Then came the worst-case scenario, a matchup against the Las Vegas Aces, back-to-back WNBA.
Steph, Caitlin presents a challenge in itself for any opponent, but when she doesn't play, how is your team different?
I think our ball moves differently. What we run is different. She has such gravity, and her ability, not just to be at the top of the scouting report, but her ability to make everybody better with the ball in her hands. So some of the things that we run are different when she's on the floor than when she's not. We run some more off-ball stuff, a lot less on-ball actions.
Champions. Stone cold killers with rings. And swagger. Their record, 12-11. But don't let that fool you. They came into Indianapolis ready to pounce, smelling blood in the water. Coach Stephanie White carried more than just a clipboard into this game. She carried the weight of her team's identity. This matchup would answer the question that had haunted them all season. Were the Fever legit contenders? Or just a one-woman act riding Caitlin Clark's star power? White knew the doubt was creeping into the locker room, and she had to crush it. She kept it real. It's a relief to know there's no more damage, but we've got to stay locked in. Great teams bury you in 5-minute lapses. White knew the Aces weren't just any team, they were the team. No room for slip-ups, no room for fear. She needed her players to believe and play with that neutral mindset, ruthless, unshaken. Meanwhile, Las Vegas showed up like royalty, confident, maybe even cocky. You could see it during warm-ups. A'ja Wilson and her Olympic-loaded squad came into Indy like they already knew how the story would end. With Clark sidelined, they smelled blood. This was their chance to prove what many believed, that the Fever were nothing without her. Wilson had her own reasons to circle this one. She'd been quietly stewing over all the attention Clark had taken from her, and now she had the stage all to herself. No Clark to shift the spotlight. The Aces weren't just playing, they were plotting. This was their shot to remind everyone that rings still matter more than ratings. But that's when everything flipped. The story changed. The league got stunned. Because sometimes, the best thing that can happen to a team is being counted out. The Fever used every doubt, every headline, every hot take as fuel. Their biggest question mark became their secret weapon. What came next? It shocked the WNBA. Sometimes when a team needs a hero, it's not the loudest voice that steps up. The most focused. Kelsey Mitchell was ready. She'd been catching heat all season for vanishing when it mattered. The numbers didn't lie. 20 points one night, 3 of 15 the next. And against the Aces? Early on, the hate felt justified. Mitchell missed her first few shots. You could see the frustration building. The crowd felt it too. Without Clark's playmaking, the offense looked shaky. Mitchell was pressing. Through 3 quarters, she went 4 for 19 from the field. That kind of stat line gets most players benched. But Coach White wasn't giving up. Then came the moment. Timeout. White pulled her aside. Let it fly. It's going to go. Just 5 words, but they hit Mitchell in her soul. White reminded her to stay balanced, to attack smart, to read the floor. And Mitchell's teammates stepped up too. They fed her in better spots, set stronger screens, created space. And then, click. Boston spun and found her splash. Mid-range, splash. Pull up from deep, splash. The Mitchell show had arrived. By the 4th quarter, the game belonged to her. She scored 9 clutch points in the final 12 minutes. 4 of 5 shooting. She added 4 assists, tying for the team high. She wasn't just scoring, she was running the offense, taking over, owning the moment. Against the defending champs, Mitchell. To Boston bucket, clean delivery, veteran confidence. She finished with 21 points, silencing every critic who said she couldn't lead in the clutch. This wasn't about replacing Clark, it was about stepping up. She showed mental toughness. She showed leadership. She showed she's built for this, and she wasn't alone. The Fever offense clicked. They scored 84 points without Clark. Sophie Cunningham. Red. Hot. While the league focused on who'd replace Clark's scoring, Sophie turned into the most dangerous shooter in the WNBA. She came into this game riding a 6-game double-figure streak. The numbers were wild. 13.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 3 made threes per game. She wasn't streaky. She was locked in. Coach White trusted her. Another ball handler, a shot creator, a defensive rebounder, but above all, energy. Sophie brought it. And now she was the spark, the shooter, and the glue all in one. But there was one question left. Could she keep this insane pace up against elite squads like Vegas? The answer? Yes. Cunningham was shooting an absurd 58.1% from deep over her last 6 games. The hottest shooter in the WNBA during July. These weren't empty stats, these were daggers. Pressure-packed shots. Game-TURNERS. And against the Aces. She delivered again. She hit 3 of 4 from deep, finishing with 15 points. Every time Las Vegas tried to climb back, Cunningham hit another 3 that killed the momentum. Her timing was surgical. Her confidence? Unshakable. Sophie's threes weren't just buckets. They were body blows. She helped stretch the floor, punish the defense, and gave Mitchell room to operate. While all eyes were on Wilson and Clark's absence, Sophie Cunningham stole the spotlight. Cunningham straightaway delivers. Another 3. But what makes Sophie Cunningham dangerous isn't just her shooting. She rebounds, defends, and leads when it counts. Coach Stephanie White made the call to insert her into the starting lineup not for hype, but for impact. White praised her energy, versatility, and ability to stretch the floor. She called her a ball handler, a shot creator, and a defensive rebounder. Now, analysts are calling her a front runner for 6th Player of the Year. Honestly, who else even comes close? One expert straight up called her an absolute assassin for her cold-blooded shot-making. Her off-the-bench production has turned heads all season long, and it's not just hype anymore. It's stats, consistency, and big game moments. The Fever needed a surprise scoring weapon with Clark sidelined, and Cunningham became that weapon. Her transformation from role player to game changer was exactly what Indiana needed. Vegas knew that. They tried to adjust. But Sophie kept delivering. She dropped 15 points, hitting 3 of 4 from deep. These weren't throwaway buckets, they were kill shots. Each time Vegas gained momentum, Cunningham responded with another dagger. Her evolution gave Indiana the one thing every contender needs: a shooter who can swing a game in seconds. And just when you thought the game was sealed, came the moment that sent Gainbridge Fieldhouse into chaos. 35 seconds left. Fever clinging to a 5-point lead. Vegas wasn't done yet. They were lurking, waiting for a stop, a mistake. One chance to steal it. Then Ari McDonald stepped into her moment. The ball swung to the top of the arc. Aces scrambling, trying to trap. McDonald didn't blink, no hesitation. Just a cold, fearless step-back 3. She knew what was at stake. Miss it, and Vegas has life. Make it, and it's over. She launched. The arena held its breath. Swish, game, set, season-defining shot. That 3 didn't just stretch the lead. It broke Vegas. The champs had no answers left. Gainbridge exploded. McDonald had only taken 1 shot in the entire 4th quarter. And it was that one. Talk about making it count. She finished with 9 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, and the coldest shot of the night. But she wasn't the only one stepping up. Natasha Howard had been dominant from tip-off. 18 points, 13 rebounds, 3 steals, she did it all. She owned the glass and anchored the defense. "Our defense gets our offense going," Howard said. And she meant it. That mentality defined this win. Vegas was limited to 1 shot, and Indiana ran from there. McDonald's shot was the exclamation mark. Howard's effort was the foundation. But you know who else felt this win deeply? Caitlin Clark, in street clothes, injured, still living every second on the bench. When McDonald hit that 3, Clark jumped up. She couldn't hide the fire, couldn't fake the pride, because this wasn't just a win. This was the tiebreaker. The Fever now hold a 2-1 season edge over Las Vegas. That might be the difference between a top seed and a tough road trip when the playoffs hit. This game wasn't just big, it could change everything. Playoff seeding, Championship hopes. League narratives. Clark is going to return soon. But now, she's coming back to a team that's battle-tested. A team that beat the defending champs without her. A team that's deeper than anyone gave them credit for. Mitchell has stepped up. Cunningham is red hot. Howard is dominating. And now McDonald? A cold-blooded closer. This team is dangerous. They're sitting at 13-12, climbing the WNBA ladder. They've got weapons. They've got heart. And now they've got belief. Indiana isn't just surviving the absence of their star. They're thriving in it. They've sent a message to the league: this isn't a one-woman show. It's a squad. If you're still sleeping on Sophie Cunningham, you better wake up. Comment Red Hot Sophie if you're fired up. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.